ESG. ESG. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've spoke about some stuff, so let's go on a good old-fashioned rant. Now, I just want to mention a couple of things before we get on with this. Just a quick update on health, because I haven't been updating this channel. So, obviously, I've been sick for some time since last month, and it's been getting slightly worse. Every week something bad comes. Like this week, I had a lot of inflammation. It started since last week, but it got worse this week. Um, what else can I say? I've had this lump in my mouth for some time. It's behind my second row of teeth. So, yeah. And I kept pressing it over and over, and all of a sudden it's getting more and more pointy, but not so sharp. Doesn't hurt, but just a couple days ago it was hurting. Like if I just stroked my tongue around that sore, it would really shock. Now not so much. I haven't been pressing it with my fingers for a while, but I'm worried. It is somewhat hard, but then now you get like little white thing poking out, so I don't know what's that. Honestly, my life is just terrible. Still have those lumps on my ear, but they're somewhat invisible, you know? Overall, still have my lymph node. I still have problems with my stool for some reason. I know talking about this is disgusting. I know, but I have to keep you updated just in case anything happens. But overall, I'm trying to change my life. I've been eating healthy for some time, and I'm trying my best to just live healthy. I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying. I've been trying since last year. In fact, I've been trying since 2020, but I went back and forth. But overall, I was trying to open myself to new foods and whatnot. And let's just see what happens. Honestly, I'm terrified. I don't want to speak anymore. I don't want to speak so much because anytime I think about something positive, 10 negative things come my way. Okay, let's talk about ESG for a couple of minutes. If you don't know, ESG is basically this new little scorecard from companies. Now, environmental, social, and corporate governance. So, environmental. What does this mean? Basically, we are talking about the environment. Now, look, it's important to take care of the environment. I think it's important to take care of you know, our nature, our earth. But the problem is now, I do believe there's a cult forming around it. So now you just have to always give your life to this cult, you know? I kid you not. People were saying this year was the last year. For some reason, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? How can the world just somehow end for no reason because of our problems? Like, you can say, fine, humanity might get destroyed, but how can the world specifically end? The planet's still going to be there. The planet took much more hotness than anything else. Okay, so I'm just saying, you know, the world can't end. The world will still be there. And secondly, humans are more adaptable. We've been adaptable for literally millions of years. We have adapted so many times. We had to live through the worst times. And there's so much crazy things. I would like to talk more about the politics, but I'm just saying, when it comes to the environment, now your products have to always, I can't even draw a flower properly, have to always be um, very, very much about the environment. You can't pollute. And this is a problem for many cars, for many type of, well, many type of just, you could say, physical products. Let me just say that, yes, it's important to take care of the environment. Yes, we need less plastic. And you can't just recycle them because it's impossible just to, like rebuild plastic. You can reuse it. You can reduce the amount of plastic you buy. That's good. You don't have to litter. No one's forcing you to litter. So there we go. Um, what else can I say right now? So yeah, a lot of game companies as well have been so focused on the environment. So that's why you get a lot of games that just all about preaching about the earth. Yeah, I'm just saying. Moving on, we have social. Talking about, social. So what does this mean? I would say that it's specifically about a lot about like the online space mostly, but overall, it's about, you could say, somewhat the light politics of certain people, the social stuff that's going on, you know, um, environmental, social, and corporate governance. Those are very powerful words. So the social aspect comes in when it's about, you could say, politics specifically, and it's very light politics, very light, like a stroke of butter on a piece of toast, very light. So yeah, obviously the social stuff is very important because a lot of companies now are trying to promote a lot of politics. So yeah. Why do you think a lot of games have no gender options, or they show off all these weird people promoting the game? Why? Social. It's all politics basically. Then you have corporate governance, which I'm still trying to figure out on my own. Uh, Corporate governance is basically, yeah, it's in the name. Corporate. Now all this stuff is just corporate jargon, and overall that the corporates want a lot of power. Just remember that they want a lot of power. A lot of these people want to be very influential, and don't be surprised if they start working with the higher ups and start doing some crazy things. So you could say that corporate governance is also about what goes on with the company itself, how it's run, and how progressive it is. And also, you could say these two things have a lot of politics involved, especially. I mean, this yes, but to a very light degree. But these are like light, but these are very like this is so light. This is like faint. These are light if you think about it. So, anyways, as you can see, a lot about control. It's about who gets in. So, you know, oh look, um, you're in charge of a company. Who are you gonna hire? You're gonna hire these really smart men, or you're gonna hire this 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 person who has less skills, this you could say trans, or I don't know, some minority, for the sake of looking good. So what would you do? You would choose to look good, right? You would rather look good than actually be a functioning company, you know? So overall, these things are pretty important. And ESG actually basically forms a lot of our future projects. So right now, when people are making video games, they aren't really basing things off the past, or let's just say it's a series of games. They aren't going to be basing it off that. They're going to be basing it off the ESG scores. They want to get more scores so they can get more funding from investors. And the only way investors will now fund your company is obviously if you are pretty woke. People think that only these right wingers are rich. No, I'm sorry. A lot of left wingers are rich. Leftists are also rich. Okay, so yes, many of these leftists, while they preach socialism and whatnot, many of them are getting rich. Don't be surprised. Okay, don't be surprised. So overall, it's all a score system. So, hey, if you preach about the environment a bit, maybe in your video game, talk about some stupid social issues that don't even affect normal people, like just a small percentage of people online. uh, and basically hire like a bunch of diversity hires, guess what? Your ESG scores goes up. Like it just goes up maybe times 10. I forgot how it was, but there were like different ways of analyzing it when it comes to ESG scores. I remember seeing someone score box, and it was very light. I think it was Capcom's, but overall, there is a score box, and if you have like a certain color or something like that, that means you're very good with ESG. Now, many Western companies, a lot of them, just love snorting that ESG. Just love it. Doesn't matter if the games don't make any money. Think they care? They're working with the ESG system. The ESG system is more superior, apparently. So there we go. It's not about making a product to sell to people for their enjoyment. It's making a product for, you could say, the investors, so they can enjoy something, so they can enjoy other people enjoying something, if that makes sense. And the only way to teach a lot of these companies a lesson is to not buy their products. Simple as that. Now, we're going to talk about Bud Light. Bud Light. The recent news going on with Bud Light. If you don't know, they basically had this small little sponsorship with Dylan Mulvaney, who is this trans TikToker. There's a lot going on about this character, but I don't know if this person is real or this person is just actually pretending. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that, but I will say that a lot of people on the right were very unhappy with this, so they decided to boycott. So they decided to boycott this little beer. Now, is it beer? A lot of people keep saying it's not beer. So I don't know, like people say it's terrible and stuff, but overall, a lot of people were very upset about this. So they decided to basically boycott it. To basically boycott it away. And it's actually working, which is something interesting because when the right boycotts something in modern times, it doesn't work as well. Or let's just say that they say, okay, it went woke. Let's just say a company goes woke. They call it out and whatnot on videos, but that's literally it. Some of them say they're not going to purchase it anymore, but that's it. It doesn't go so far where people are just so upset about this. Like it's not that far. Maybe you could say Gillette, but even so, that was never just a left. That was never just a right wing thing. It was possibly more like mixed. But overall, you could say that you could really say that um, this is the first time in a while the right did actually stood up for themselves. Because remember, all of this stuff was going on for years. When the right said something, when we said something, when I said something like, okay, I want to boycott this product. I'm not going to support this product anymore. Done. That's it. Doesn't go that far because other people just continue to purchase the product. So when I say no, you get millions more conservatives saying yes, yes, we're gonna support this company, or they just won't care anymore. They'll just forget about it. I get you can't boycott everything. I get that. But for the lightest of things, when these companies go woke, no one calls it out. It took so long for the right to do this because Bud Light did have like the Pride stuff last year, and the right didn't really do that much. Fun fact, Bud Light's actually, some people at Bud Light are actually donating to Republicans. So why on earth are they having all this pride stuff? You could say that they're trying to be hip, but at the same time, behind the scenes, they're just trying to make as much money. It really sucks because we can tell that this is just really terrible. And right now, they're just suffering. They're just suffering right now. And you can say they're just suffering. And the thing is that they offered some kind of uh, response, but it was never a apology. It was never an apology to the actual buyers of this. And that's the crazy part about this. People are now also boycotting Nike now when Nike went woke 4 or 5 years ago. So it's like, why now? Why not before? But hey, at least people are finally waking up. Took them a while, but they're finally waking up. Overall, people were just upset about that. And you need to understand Bud Light's most customers are mostly men, mostly these type of like very much southern folk, and you have your your you have your types of people, mostly conservative, drinking the type of stuff. I'm not saying they need to do political ads. I'm just saying just keep it as it is. Then they released this one ad. It seems to be possibly stock footage, but I kind of doubt that, just to save their butts. But no one's really paying attention to that. The ESG scores possibly went up, but obviously the stocks went down. So possibly, I haven't checked the ESG score yet, but I'm assuming it possibly went up like 100%. But but less people are supporting them now, their stocks and whatnot. So you can have the highest ESG score. You can be making a game like what's it called? Forgot now. Saints Row 5. You can make a game like that, and you can be proud about that. But when it comes to the audience, the people purchasing it, you just cannot control them. So just remember, the only way to stop ESG is the people. You can stop it. I can stop it. You know, I can actually stop these companies from doing stuff like this. I can do it. You can do it by just saying no. You can just say no and that's it. Saying no. It's not that hard to say no. I know it's hard for some people who grew up in a way where, they couldn't say no, like me, for instance. There were plenty of times where I could not say no. People would people would literally just, like, speak to me and ask me for favors. And I was scared to say no. I was so scared to say no. But then I learned my lesson because people will always take advantage of you when you can't say no. And this was what was going on. A lot of people couldn't say no, so these companies kept going forward and forward with wokeness. And they got so comfortable with it. That's the thing. I couldn't learn to say no years ago when it came to people asking me for favors. I know we're talking about two different things, like red and blue, but when it comes to saying no, you have to say it quickly. I learned a big lesson about saying no quickly. And you just have to learn to say no. It's very difficult to say no. I know that to things that you love, to say no and just no, okay, I get that, but these people are going to continue to you know pull the fast one on you over and over, and you'll be stuck there, and you wouldn't know what to do. You'll feel uncomfortable to let go. There are so many people I remember just accepting favors and scared to say no. I was literally scared to say no. And there were times where I just didn't want to do it, and I just had to say yes, fine, I'll do it. Okay, fine. Like pretend, you know? And that's not nice. So I know we're talking about a company and I'm talking about my past, but I'm just saying that when you say no for companies, it's different than saying no for someone else. And I guess yes, when you grow up with certain companies, you you really want to be with them, but then you can't anymore because you can't trust them anymore. So I'm glad people are waking up because it took a lot of time for people to wake up and see a lot of crazy things going on. Overall, ESG will always be a thing. ESG is basically a score. It's a scoreboard if you think about it. It's your little scoreboard you have. you could say. And you can have you can have the highest amount of scores. Okay, let's just say you own a soccer team and your team gets all the points. Your team gets all the points. I don't know, let's just say for the sake of it, you get a lot of points. Does it really matter if you have all the points, but a lot of your fans hate you? Maybe you changed a couple of players or you detained a couple of players for because of something. I don't know. Some people will really hate that. I know I'm using strange analogies. I should not do that, but overall, I think the best analogy is let's just say you make a video game. Let's just say you were a video game company for some time. You made very interesting games, very edgy games, and now all of a sudden you want to be PC and then you give a response that, well, well, it's calling your old fans bad or whatsoever. No one's gonna like that. You understand that, and you may gain a lot of points with ESG, a couple of new audience members, a lot of new fans, but you lost a lot of loyal fans, and that's pretty important. So that's something when um, it came to the Saints Row. They lost a lot of loyal fans, and that's very unfortunate because just remember this was a very interesting game. It was pretty much obviously it was it was like a GTA game, but very different. And it wasn't just for your casual gamer. It was something that had an identity. It wasn't a safe game. You knew it very well, very edgy. A lot of the games from the past can't be edgy today, so they have a complete makeover trying to get along with the PC crowd. So a lot of these companies keep trying to get the ESG scores up. It's just a scoreboard. It's just a scoreboard. It's just a scoreboard. It's how you respond to the scoreboard. Do you react to it or not? Do you react to it or do you ignore it and continue doing whatever? I can guarantee you there possibly are a lot of companies with low ESG scores and possibly are the best companies. Just remember, this scoreboard was forced upon people. No one chose this scoreboard. It was forced upon people to accept. It was forced upon people to accept. Okay, imagine you just have a company, you're selling coffee, you're selling some coffee, and all of a sudden the scoreboard is placed on you. It's just stamped on you for no reason. So the investors now, it's for the investors, obviously, yes. So now your business is in trouble. So you have to kind of get along with the board. But what if you don't? That's another thing. What if you don't? So if you are a private company, I feel like you can easily weasel your way out of this because it won't matter. But if you are a public company, this is the problem with a lot of public companies. ESG will get to you. And if you don't, then you better hope that a lot of people who are investing in you are not politically correct people. And there are a lot of rich, politically incorrect people. It's just that they're not interested in investing in your company because it's just too politically correct. So, yeah, you get rich people on both sides willing to invest on multiple companies. So I think it's best to kind of be apolitical. I think that's one way to earn more money. Because if you're earning more money, that means more people will want to kind of support you. But then you have this ESG blockade. So this is like blocking it. This is just blocking it. Okay, we still have to find a way around it. Maybe one day ESG will be completely destroyed. But just remember, the only way to stop a company from ESG is to not buy their products. I know it sounds harsh, but it's one thing to do. Like, okay, I'm not going to support this company anymore. Okay, done. Bud Light is feeling it the worst. They were trying way too hard to raise their ESG scores, while in the background, they were basically Republicans, and they were trying to get with the kids, you know. And you could say that um, this type of stuff really hurt their main audience, their core supporters, their core customers. So while they were chasing to be woke, they didn't realize who are the ones paying for everything. Now people aren't going to invest in them because it doesn't matter of ESG now, because they aren't worth investing now because they aren't earning that much. So I guess it depends on how much you earn plus the ESG. So overall, that's all I can actually say. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.